This was an exam that only true geniuses were allowed to take. Modes, participants had to cross the room. The rule was they couldn't step on the black and white tiles on the floor. There were a few color-changing tiles placed around, but the distance between them was very far. The first contestant, a girl, glanced at the floor and immediately said there's no way anyone could do it. Then she turned around and left. Clearly she was eliminated. The second girl was much smarter. She threw a rope and tied one end to the doorknob on the other side, then carefully walked across the rope. She made it through successfully. The third boy relied purely on strength. He jumped and landed directly on the other side. The fourth boy had a unique method. He focused on the loophole in the wording using math logic. Then he got down on his knees and crawled across the floor. He also passed without issue. Now only one last girl remained. What she did was even more incredible. She took one look at the floor, then just confidently walked right across. She passed too. Everyone was shocked. Turns out the rule said not to step on squares, but all the tiles were rectangular. There weren't any squares. The examiners were impressed when they heard this. Soon the second round of the challenge began. This round was even more intense and exciting. They all had to pass through a complicated maze within 5 minutes, then race up the stairs and ring the bell. Only the first 3 to ring the bell would move on. The contest began quickly. Jack suddenly noticed something odd. He saw arrows stuck on every door, but strangely the arrows didn't follow any logical pattern. They seemed more like traps meant to mislead. So he closed his eyes and tried to sense everything around him. He touched the arrows with his hands while his eyes stayed shut, and surprisingly realized they were actually written in Braille. Meanwhile, Caesar didn't follow the regular path. She opened a ventilation duct and crawled right through it. Nick relied on his excellent memory, trying different routes again and again. But what he didn't realize was that someone had been secretly following him. Just as Nick finally found the exit and was about to finish, the man behind him took the chance and shoved Nick aside, then rushed up the stairs and rang the bell. Sean heard the noise and rushed over. At the same time, Caesar had reached the top floor, but she didn't ring the bell. She waited for the rest of her team, and once all 3 were there, they rang the bell together. The round ended, but the teacher announced the first person who rang the bell was eliminated. The boy looked confused and said he was clearly the first to ring it, but the teacher explained the rule was for the first group to ring it, not just any first person. So the 3 who rang it together passed, and officially joined the Sky Training Academy. During class, the teacher gave them another logic puzzle. The question was, there are 3 switches on the wall. Only one is connected to a light bulb upstairs, but you can only go upstairs once. How do you tell which switch controls the bulb? A confident girl answered first. She gave a very complex explanation, but it was incorrect. Others started offering answers too, but none were right. Then a boy raised his hand. He said, turn on the first switch and wait 10 minutes. Then turn it off. Next, turn on the second switch, and immediately go upstairs. If the light is on, then it's the second switch. If the light is off but warm, then it was the first switch. If it's off and cold, then it's the third switch. The teacher nodded in approval again and again, but then Caesar suddenly raised her hand. She said actually there's an even simpler way. Everyone froze in surprise.